Well, greetings again this week, my friends. This week's going to be a little bit longer update than most, just because there's more information to pass on. I decided to make it a little more fun with the hat. It's my Indiana Jones hat, as people tell me. Next week, however, if we still are waiting for missionaries to put in commitments, I'll bring my Indiana Jones whip to make sure we get this stuff done. Just want to give you some updates. We have now released the Missions Connect to the conferences. That means that the superintendents, the conference treasurers, the conference missions mobilizers have logons, and they can see where year-to-date giving is and what the needs are for commitments for all of the missionary support accounts, the country shares account, and they can also see the extra mile projects and what's going on with those. We're still waiting on 9 conferences who have not given us missions commitments by church. I have heard from Maryland, Virginia, and Arizona, and I expect theirs in within a day or two. I have also heard from South Atlantic, Gulf Coast, and Alabama, Georgia, and we will not be getting something from the conference in that particular case. We're working on a way to maybe send out a mailing to the churches directly to have them sending commitments to us or the missionaries. So I'll let you know more about that if you're affected by those conferences. The other 4, we just need to do some calling on and some tracking. Next, Charlotte and I are working on verifying that all of the conference checks are in correctly by church. So that every time a conference sent a check in, we knew which church sent the money in. As we have that done, we'll be able to, I was just looking for the sheet to show you, some conferences are ready to go. They've done it all year, and we can start releasing Missions Connect to the churches, and we'll start doing that next week. Others, we need to just do some financial fix-ups to get those conferences ready to release. Hopefully, though, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, every pastor will have access to Missions Connect and be able to know where the needs are and which missionaries and country shares need commitments for next year. Speaking of the missionary input, currently we have 7 fully committed missionary support accounts. We have 14 others that are more than 75% committed. And then we have 13 that don't have any commitments input yet. Those are kind of the important numbers. And the reason I wanted to share that they're important is because the MELT did vote on a motion on how to handle funding for next year. And I did put the motion in the email so that you can read it yourself. But what this really means is that the accounts that have over 100% commitments before January 1st, 2008 are good to go. If they're not fully committed by January 1st, 2008, 2 things will happen. One is that we will review that MSA budget to determine if there's some expenses that we need to take out of it or cut back on to be able to balance it. And second, if there are, we may look at having some additional partnership building type things, maybe one or some of the missionaries coming back for a short period of time trying to get some funding in place. However, if an MSA is less than 75% funded, we are going to ask for a home assignment. And what we'll do is we'll start a 6-month countdown to home assignments so that we're talking about July 1st. If we can get the funding, the MSA fully committed from the field before that, then we will stop the countdown and we won't have to come home. But if it can't get funded before then we'll come home, get the deputation taken care of, and get you back to the field. There's also some things on fund balance requirements. However, none of those fund balance requirements take effect until December 31st, 2008. So you can read about those, and it's just we need to be at positive fund balances at that time. So wanted to get you that. Also on the CSA input, we're doing pretty well. We've got to figure out where we're going to get some of this support from. A lot of this stuff I've been getting questions on, hey, should I count this commitment? Should I count that commitment? And I tried to send some guidelines and stuff out about it, but honestly, the issue is what do you feel comfortable with as a missionary? Because in the end, commitments are important and they try to tell us, where things are, but in the end, we need that funds to come in. So if you're a little bit shaky about a commitment, depending on where your MSA commitments are, You just need to make the best determinations you can as to whether that's a good commitment or whether you're worried about it. Finally, the financial picture. We have got the August numbers in, and we're just not where we need to be able to make budget on the income side for UMC. This is the UMC missionaries, not those that are already on missionary support accounts. So we're not going to hit the income side, and so we need to not have the same expenses. And we've already tried to do some things. We've postponed replacing people here again, maybe until January 1st. But I just need you to be in prayer for Dr. Brown and I here. The fourth quarter appropriation comes up October 1st. So we need to really make some determinations on what we can and can't do or need to do to be able to balance this year's budget. One thing that you can do is, as you're working to get commitments for your MSA, for Missionary Supported for Country Shares for 2008, if they start sending money in now, it will help the UMC budget for this year. And then if they continue their commitments for next year, it will support those funds for next year as well. So as you're talking with your churches, as you're creating these relationships, any amounts that come in towards Missionary Supporting Country Shares now will help the budget now. So just be in prayer for us, and we'll be in prayer for you. Have a good day.